Hello, and welcome to ShePack Unleashed. I'm one of your hosts, Tanya.
I'm Nicole. Welcome to your weekly dose of candid discussion and the pursuit of finding your tribe in this journey of motherhood, womanhood, and sisterhood.
I'm Ashley. Join us as we leave no stone unturned. In each episode, we have heart-to-heart conversations that aim to challenge and empower one another.
I'm Jenny. No more waiting. ShePack Unleashed begins now.
On this week's episode, the Santa Talk, Magic and Truth with Your Kids.
Ho, ho, ho.
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas!
We are sitting here in our festive Christmas jammies. Can't talk. Christmas jammies.
Love it.
Yeah.
And my Christmas.
So we've done an episode about traditions, generally speaking, right? Like kind of around or throughout the year. But this is our first official Christmas episode, you guys.
I love
Exciting.
it. We've made it a whole year around the sun.
Cheers. So instead of focusing on specifically like Christmas traditions that we might have in our house, we wanted today to talk about Santa Claus and how that might or might not look in our houses, at least, and different decisions. Our kids are at different ages. And so there's some interesting crossroads. Like we are approaching the point in time, like, I don't know how much longer.
Yeah.
Like
Let's
Santa in the
remind
same
everybody
context
what
is gonna-
age our kids are.
Well, and there's such a debate going on social media about this topic right now.
Oh, I'm missing that debate. So I need
It's
to hear about
every
that.
year.
So my kiddo, have the only, and he is 10. He's in 5th grade. He is about to go into middle
My
school
God.
next year.
Oh.
So like this feels like a very much turning point of a year for us.
Yep.
And I have a 9-year-old and a 6-year-old. And my 6-year-old is far older than my 9-year-old in brain, like in
Spiritually.
Maturity-wise.
Like,
He's an old soul.
he's an old soul.
I have a 10-year-old and a 5-year-old.
I have a 9-year-old and a nearly 6-year-old.
And yeah, I do think the conversation evolves as kids grow. Like for me, Santa is very much a tradition. It's like cultural. It's fun. It's not like a religious thing. But my parents, I don't know. I think they said like, if you don't believe, you don't receive. And I really did believe for a long time, to the point where like I remember seeing like lights outside my window and I was convinced that was Rudolph. But then I couldn't find him. But it was like little moments like that. I was like, that's my proof. Like and I don't think we ever had an official talk about them not being Santa.
That's a fun place to start this conversation of like, how did you grow up?
Yeah.
Like what role did it play in your childhood, right? Because
Yeah.
Nicole?
It's so interesting because I never really believed. Shocker.
Okay.
I have an older brother. I don't know. I feel like it like as a second child.
What
like,
was the age difference again?
3 years.
Okay.
And I feel like as a second child. And then in our house, we went to midnight mass. And when we came back, Santa brought our tree and our presents.
No tree
My
before
husband's
midnight
family
mass?
would do that.
So
They would set the tree up
Huh.
on Christmas
That's
Eve
so
night
much
without
work.
the
Yeah.
family.
Right.
I would like look at it all my
Wow.
It's so pretty.
Yeah.
Oh,
My trees went up first week of November.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Santa brought the tree.
Interesting.
Oh.
It's a real tree then?
No. Florida.
I can't think of any reason why. Okay, anyway.
Okay.
So like
That's actually kind of nice. It's part of the whole gift.
So much work.
How long
And
did it stay
for
up
sure.
after
just
Christmas?
an excuse
It
for
goes up
someone to
on New Year's.
skip mass.
Oh, it was definitely an excuse for the men.
Oh, so wait,
Go to-
you went to mass with your mom or with your grandparents?
with my grandmother.
Your grandmother specifically. And so
Yeah.
your parents would stay home. They would make all the magic happen.
Mm-hmm.
Got it.
Putting up trees.
I have a thought.
Yeah.
I wonder, because you lived in a very small house, if there just wasn't space to like hide the presents.
Well, there was.
So they had to go at that time to buy things, or your Snoopy ass.
Oh, yeah.
find it.
I
Or did they
already
like
found-
hide them in the car?
Oh, they were always in the trunk.
Uh-huh. Yes.
I distinctly remember us getting caught one year. Like I had like mission style crawled into my,
Oh my
parents'
God.
bedroom, like got the keys and like slithered out and
because you knew.
oh yeah. And then the 4 of us were like in the trunk and got caught red-handed.
Oh, no.
So it was all the gifts before they were wrapped, but you found
Yeah.
all the things.
And then I became really good at then they would wrap them ahead of time, and then I became really good at like unwrapping.
Yes.
Freezer.
That was the first
then
time I
rewrap.
found, first time I found presents. They were all wrapped.
I don't like surprises though. So
That's
like
true. You don't. So it didn't like take anything away for you.
You like
finding them?
challenges. So it was just like bets.
challenges. Yeah.
So
So what was it like for
interesting.
you, Ashley?
It ruined the surprise when I found the presents. I was so disappointed.
Did you go looking for them?
Oh, for sure. I
Is
want
it Santa presents specifically? Or
So
like
when I found these presents, I knew Santa wasn't real at that point. So I'm like, I'm gonna
Oh.
fucking get you guys. I know they're here somewhere. It was very like rebellious, like
okay.
yeah. But I very carefully like untaped them and then taped them back together. And then it just
It takes the fun out of it.
Yep. I learned my lesson so quick that morning and yep.
I do remember Santa was definitely a thing. We would go to midnight mass, but like we would do the tree, like at least 2 weeks or so ahead of Christmas.
A real
at
tree
some
or a
point you
fake
just said,
tree?
no, I've had a fake tree my entire life. I have never
me too.
once had a real tree, and I am okay with that.
This is my first year since moving to North Carolina that I've had a fake tree.
Girl, pre-lit artificial tree.
Way to go.
Yes,
I
please.
went this year that way.
No,
Welcome.
stringing the lights
Yeah.
because I used to. We had an artificial tree that was not pre-lit.
Yeah, that's what we
had to string the lights every year, and that alone was enough for me to be like, absolutely not. Once I had the money, the adult money to buy a pre-lit artificial tree, that was it for me and forevermore.
Mm-hmm.
But I still remember like there was one time where we did sneak into the closet and found some presents, but like it didn't ruin the Santa thing for me. What got that for me was I'm the youngest of 3, right? The family did a great job of keeping the magic alive. And when I was really little, I still remember going down to Alabama to our extended family. And my grandfather would get dressed up in a Santa outfit and would run around outside the house and like peek up to the windows. And then he would come in and do like a whole Santa session. Like we didn't go to department stores. I was really young.
Okay.
I was like 3, 4, right?
That's such a
Somewhere
nice
in there.
memory.
And so I still remember seeing Santa like through the window, and then he would come and ring the doorbell, and he would come in, and then he would give everyone like one gift. But at my house, right, like my dad would do Santa occasionally, again, when we were little. And then my mom one year was like, I am going to be Santa this year, God damn it, right?
Your mom?
My mom. So she put on the costume, she put on the beard, she had the glasses already. But what gave it away was that Santa had 4 corners sticking out of his belly of our very prominent couch pillows and was wearing my mom's black snow boots. And I didn't understand. I was like, that's different. But I still played along, I think. From my recollection, I was like, I don't know.
Like
how
elementary
old I was.
school, maybe?
Yeah.
Okay.
For sure. But I was still also like, if I still get the presents, I'll play along, right? Like, we'll go
I
with
was
that.
Such a little shit.
But that was the last one. And like since then, right, like my mom and I have laughed about it, and I think she feels bad. But I was like, it is what it is. Eventually,
Yeah.
It's not
all
forever.
kids are going to
There is a
learn
moment.
about it,
Yeah.
right?
But I do think there is some importance about like the magic for younger kids, or like
Mhm.
encouraging imagination and wonder, and just like the belief in something you can't see. Like for me, it's so much more about the generosity and the spirit of Christmas. But Beto and I had like a long conversation about this because he felt very strongly that we shouldn't do Santa at all. Or like just not support the myth of Santa, right?
Did
So
you
do
grow up
presents.
with Santa?
And not really. They didn't really have much.
Okay.
Right? Or do a lot. The gift giving was not, I mean, obviously did Christmas, and I don't want to speak for him, but gift giving was not the, hullabaloo for him that it was for me. But I felt like that there was something magical. I didn't want my kids to like miss out.
Mm-hmm.
So we decided that we would do it. Like we would say, oh, Santa's coming, like all of that. But if they ever asked, we were never going to lie.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like a very fine line to walk. Yeah, it's been
I
tough.
feel like that's how we are. And when they ask now, like Evan's old enough starting asking, I immediately go back with, what do you think?
Yep.
Are they like outright asking, or are they talking about
Ryan asked
Santa?
last year.
Cruz asked me explicitly. Actually, that's not entirely true, but I think you guys have heard this story.
Yeah.
But our listeners haven't.
Well, so last year, so 3rd grade, my husband came home because the teachers were talking to him because apparently Cruz was telling everyone at school that Santa wasn't real. Now,
You're that kid.
reminder,
Just kidding.
my
Right there
children
with ya.
currently are not in a very diverse school right now in terms of cultural beliefs. So they are not navigating friends or schoolmates that are Jewish or celebrating other holidays. Everyone there does Santa. And even Luna's classroom had an elf on the shelf in the classroom. Like everyone
Oh boy.
Wow.
is bought in. So I was like, okay, like I have to talk to him. So then he was asking me, and I was doing the what do you think thing, for a while. And he was like, I just don't know. He was really gung-ho on setting up a camera. He's very analytical to like capture Santa.
He's like, Nicole.
There was a lot of that happening. And I was kind of proud of the magic we were able to pull off. Like Santa got him things that mom would never allow, And I would talk it up like, I can't believe I would never get you an Amazon Alexa robot. And Santa did, and so it helps. But anyway, so yeah, we had to talk to him, and it was like a Matrix moment. I was like, buddy, once you know the truth, you can't unknow it. You have to be sure. And I was like, in this envelope is the truth. We took him out to dinner, a fancy dinner. And we're like, if you want to know, you open it. And then we had written like a long letter explaining things to him.
The letter was very touching.
I think I sent you guys.
Yeah, I remember seeing it.
Mostly copied from the internet.
I'm going to be very curious to ask Cruz later about
that letter, because I'm going to need that in my back pocket, I'm afraid. Like,
there's this girl on TikTok. She also talks about fair play a lot. Do you know who I'm talking about?
That darn chat?
She's like got brown curly hair. She lives in Texas. She talks about fair play a lot. Come on, you guys know who I'm talking about.
Usually our FYPs are totally synced, but I don't know this one.
Anyways, her daughter asked recently about Santa, and she looked at her and she said, do you want the grown-up answer or do you want the magic answer?
Oh, that's nice.
I kind of liked that approach. And her daughter was like, the magic answer. And she's like, yes, Santa is real.
Yeah.
So I think that's also a good way to say, like,
I like that.
Give them the opportunity to decide, like, do you want to know the grown-up version of this or not?
Yeah.
They can tell you what they're ready for that way.
Yeah.
I think I've been kind of like, we've been flirting with the line with Ryan, right? Because I think I remember telling you guys last Christmas, I was driving around with Ryan and he started asking me questions. Like, he did not point blank say, is Santa real, right? But like, do you think Santa's coming this year? It was like very roundabout sort of questions. And so I was definitely talking to him about it and had the floor open for the conversations. Like, I wasn't going to shut it down, because I would much rather him hear it from us than like kids at school. But also I was trying, like, it was hot on the heels of you guys having that talk with Cruz. And so I like channeled some of that energy to be like, also, this is about so much more than a man in a red suit bringing you presents and one random night, right? Like, this is about the spirit of giving. It's about, doing things to make other people happy at this time of year. But those are also things that should be done all year round, right? Mm-hmm. And so, like, I don't know that we've done as good of a job as I would like of embracing that sort of mentality, right? Like, he still very much is just like, what presents am I getting, right?
Yeah.
And so, I don't know if we fully succeeded in that realm, but I'm trying to plant the seeds of like, yeah, buddy, this is not just about what you get, right?
Well, it's interesting. I was having a conversation with another friend of mine whose son specifically asked, and she also has the same, like, I'm not going to lie about it. And she told him, and he was like devastated.
That is what my mother did for me. I sobbed.
Like, oh shit, maybe he wasn't old enough.
So you asked outright, and she answered you truthfully, and it was like devastating.
Core memory. Like, I remember the bedroom where my bed was with the furniture, everything. And I asked, she was like, and I just like, I knew. But she was honest, and like in hindsight, I really respect that and appreciate that. And I don't think I had asked outright before that either. But then, kind of like you were saying, Tanya, she turned it around and like, now that you know, it's really about all these other things.
Yeah.
And she also added, like, you can be Santa.
Yes. Yeah.
You can do the magic for someone else now that you know. It was all
a Santa.
Yep. So I've taken the same approach.
You're in charge of the elf.
No, I mean, no elf. But I've taken the same approach with my kids. Like, you are Santa. Everybody is Santa. We are embodying the spirit of Santa and giving and generosity and thankfulness and all of that. So I've never been directly asked, but kind of like you, Tanya, like they've danced around it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, do you think Santa's going to come?
They're testing
Santa.
We don't, but from the jump, it was, oh, is Santa going to come? Like, well, sort of. And we would answer honestly, like, literal Santa's not going to come down the chimney. We don't have a chimney. Mm-hmm. But we will, bring some gifts together. And we've involved our kids, like, probably from like 3 to buy gifts.
Good question to say, like, do your gifts come from Santa or the parents? Because
no Santa gifts.
All of our gifts came from Santa.
When I was a kid, it was a mix, but we do no Santa gifts now, but everybody buys gifts for each other. And like we take the kids out individually to like think of each other and what might they like. And we practice like the giving part.
Most of the gifts come from us. I try to do the want, need, wear, read.
That's what we do.
To hold myself. I'm the problem.
Can I side note that really quick? I read today from someone who does those 4 things, but they added a 5th, something to share.
Love that.
Yeah, thought you would like that.
Thank you. So the categories help, and then Santa brings normally one thing, and the stockings. And
we talked about it in another episode. You like have high ass stocking presents you put in.
Some people, the big gift comes from Santa
by size of present, not value.
Yeah,
but we wrap our gifts, like our family gifts, are wrapped and they live under the tree. And I was having a problem with sneaky children, so I no longer put names on them.
Wait, what do you mean they were under the tree?
Like
ahead of time
out there?
Yeah.
Like as part of the decorations. Oh, yeah, I like that.
Part of the decoration. Part of the decoration.
I can't do that, but I so wish I could. It's so nice.
I can't put their names on it, so they each have a different wrapping paper. But they don't know whose wrapping paper is whose. And then I sneak in a little bit of wrapping paper in each of their stockings.
It's like a quest.
It's like a quest.
I love this.
They know which one. But Santa doesn't wrap.
That's how I grew up. Was our family gifts were always wrapped, but Santa gifts, we would come down Christmas
and they're
morning
set up.
and they were just under the tree with the other presents, like not wrapped.
And they have batteries included.
I still have a core memory
done, like
of my purple hippo that I got for Christmas that I still have sitting under my Christmas tree, just like waiting with all the presents around it.
God.
So cute. And like if it's a Barbie, you like cut it, you like get out all the, it's like ready to play.
There's no tags.
No tags, nothing. That's it.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, everything was wrapped. Everything. Stocking, our
stocking.
Everything. Every single
They wanted to make it last as long as possible.
And there was
savor it.
Us, right? So like
much work.
And we had my grandmother used to say like your Christmases are obscene because it was like full out, like so far past the tree. I'll have to show a picture one day. And that was kind of the fun part is we didn't know whose gifts were who when we were sneaking through them. And so at Christmas, our fun would be like, is that yours or mine?
Oh,
who got
4
that?
Of you. Yeah.
There's 4 of us. And so there was all the presents in the like closet and we'd be like, who got what?
Yeah.
Right? From the presents.
That's so funny.
But every single thing was wrapped.
No, Santa doesn't wrap. Like the stockings aren't unwrapped. And I like it because they start there, right? Because then they want to know
start
where
there.
the paper is.
Which
my kids start with stockings too. That's so like you can open this if you let us sleep for another half an hour.
But it has been tough, like maintaining that holiday tradition. This will be the first Christmas that Cruz officially is in the know. Officially, or at least we're talking about it openly. And we told him last year it's a great responsibility. We have a little sister. We need to keep this going. And he was on board. He was like, okay. And I was like, he was like, but how long, Mom? I don't know if I can do that for very long. So he set the goal of 10. We're going to try to get Luna
to be 10.
To get till 10.
Oh, that's nice.
I think it's a very like hard goal to reach.
That's aggressive.
Cruz was like 8 or 9. But like in his brain, I was like, okay, buddy, we'll make our goal to get her to 10. And knock on wood, to my knowledge, he hasn't, in a moment of anger been like, Santa's not real.
Oh, I've gotten a ton of that.
But he does it a lot with like unicorns and fairies and mermaids. But he hasn't broached it with the holiday stuff.
Would you ever consider just preemptively telling your olders so that they don't find out from the kids on the playground? Like
that's what I feel like I did.
I'm sort of at this place where, so last year, right, like he was doing those sort of testing questions. And then even with like going to see Santa, right? Like Bass Pro has a great Santa setup, but he would notice that the Santas were different. I was like, that's because they're Santa's helpers.
Yes.
They have permission to come and be here and to spread the joy to as many families as they can. But you're right. That is not the real Santa, right? And so that like,
to me is so truthful.
The soft way of
launch.
Like, yeah. So like I was trying to lay the foundation because I don't want like his whole world to crumble necessarily. And I wonder if like he might be there, but he just wants the presents.
So
like
fears.
I think it's interesting because you have an only. So you're not worried necessarily about him spoiling it for somebody else.
Well, other kids.
Your other
not
kids,
youngers,
right? Not youngers because
but all of your youngers, right? Like
he's
around them enough, especially around the holidays.
Yeah, and
like,
Calvin's straight up is like, Santa's not real. When Derek says things, I'm like, yeah, we gotta be nicer about it.
Family, they don't do Santa at all. And we have kids of a similar age.
Yeah.
And so I know my brother has talked to my nephew in years past and been like, don't talk about it. Like, and they've respected it to date. So I do think there's a responsibility and it can be done. But to answer your question, Tanya, I asked Cruz after.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, I'm kind of a little sad that I know now.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
See, where that comes from is I'm a little anxious about like sending him off to middle school.
Yeah.
Still fully believing, if he is still a full believer.
I can't imagine that,
and then for like kids to be vicious,
I would
right?
say the amount of bad things I did in middle school, I can't even imagine.
I am firmly of the belief that whatever conversations you want to have with your child, you should have before middle school. Insert any topic.
So then I have
Sex,
to
puberty, Santa.
Yeah.
Is it weird that I'm more like, yes, absolutely, we are having the sex talk. We're going to talk about puberty. We're talking about all the things.
Santa's
like,
the thing that worries.
Do I ruin Santa? Like,
Is it
not
ruining?
I shouldn't have that mentality.
Because
do you do any of the other like mythical things?
Like
Easter Bunny,
like Easter Bunny.
We have an Easter
Tooth Fairy.
basket.
Tooth Fairy's
Again,
long
just
gone now.
Commercialism. No,
Cruz still thinks about the Tooth Fairy.
he still gets $1.
Yeah, we were like, there's no Tooth Fairy, but here's a quarter.
I hate it. He still gets $1 for the Tooth Fairy.
$1. My kids scam me out of video games.
No.
Oh my God. Do you know how many teeth they have?
No, he lost a tooth at the grandparents' house, and I think they gave him like $5 if I'm remembering right. And I was like, Tooth Fairy took some liberties at your house.
Wow.
Our Tooth Fairy gives dollar coins sprayed with glitter hairspray.
So it's magical.
Cruz thinks it's magical because we went to a bank and asked for them. And
Tooth Fairy coins?
No, we asked for dollar coins and they didn't have them. And he was like, I was like, that's because they don't make them anymore, honey. These are really rare. This is Tooth Fairy money. And so he still believes in the Tooth Fairy.
My God.
Because I had pre-ordered like rolls and rolls.
I bet there's a part of him that's like,
I'm
wait
sure
a
he's putting it
minute.
together now, but he hasn't yet. And the bunny, I don't push the bunny. Like, I think the bunny's creepy. Like, but we were like, oh, the Easter bunny, haha.
Like, we never do pictures with the Easter bunny. That creeps me out.
So it's really just Santa for you guys?
He gets a basket for Easter.
We don't even do Easter baskets. But it's so funny because my kids, I'm sure they know, and they just are using it to like connive me.
Yeah, it's possible.
Because, for instance,
fine.
like, Evan came home after the Tooth Fairy one day and said, like, I heard everybody told me that the Tooth Fairy, if you put your Tooth Fairy tooth on the windowsill, he brings a present instead of money. And if the Tooth Fairy is real, I will have a present.
Way to share the default parent load, whoever is the Tooth Fairy.
You did not do that, did you?
No, we did.
Because you got to keep up with the. But I totally hear you.
No.
But I totally hear you, and here's
different
why.
houses have different rules,
but
and
the
different beliefs respects the rules that the parents set forth, as does Santa. Well, and we've talked about Santa gifts, right? Like, any of our gifts from Santa are not expensive ones.
I agree with
not every Santa can deliver expensive gifts. So, like, the expensive ones come from mom and dad.
I'm the exact same way. I think that's really important because when I was
But it's the same thing to me. It's the same mentality. Like, fuck that. No.
Oh, no, he scammed me.
Tooth Fairy gets $1.
I mean, Tooth Fairy is different in every house, apparently, and they talk. But that happened to me because Luna was like, everyone else has an elf, Mom. How come we don't have an elf? And it was a hard no for me. I'm like, we're not starting this.
Hard no for me.
Okay, am I the only elf person?
Yep.
Yeah, and I feel so sorry for you every December.
I know. I started it when Evan was 1 or 2. Like, it was just Evan.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like fun.
Sure.
Cute. And that's like 8 years ago.
It's like life sentence.
I know.
25 days.
Times 9 years.
Almost a decade.
I
That's
know.
250 nights.
I know. And I bought a kit most years.
I mean, originally, weren't you just supposed to hide it? Like, it didn't need all this.
I think it's become its own like beast, and not in a great way. I feel like the parents are just one-upping each other at this point, and the kids are along for the ride
it's
because
like
it's
for the
hysterical.
picture moment too, to like put on social media.
I don't like it.
I don't like the whole concept of like someone's watching you or like, oh no.
Santa has like spies in your house, like telling on you.
Well, I will say also, Steve and I really enjoyed it the first couple years. Like,
that's fair.
Like, we enjoyed doing it. Like, it was fun. He was in a new place. Like, we got to be.
Oh, like you like surprised each other with it?
No, we did it together.
What if the elf retires?
Enjoyed doing it together. I mean,
elf on
I
vacation.
also have guilt about that because Cole is only 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Make it to 10. That's the goal.
10, I'll never make it.
10 is the goal.
The thing is once Evan fully in his brain is it's not a thing.
So I hear you.
No way Cole's
but may I offer an alternate?
You can try with my spicy child.
Cruz the other day, him, not me. It's been nearly a year since we had this conversation because we had it after Christmas last year. He was like, Mom, I want to stay up really late on Christmas Eve this year. And I was like, okay, buddy, why? He was like, I want to be like Buddy the Elf and cut a whole bunch of snowflakes out of paper and decorate it like crazy. And Luna's never going to believe it.
Aww.
He is so excited.
So
I love that.
My question for you is he normally a thoughtful kid about others?
Yes.
Okay. I don't have that same perspective in my
different personality.
I have a different personality where
I think Evan is incredibly thoughtful and so good with younger kids.
Okay.
I could see you. He might
accept it as a special mission.
He might enjoy
for his brother
because it's sneaky. He gets to be sneaky. He gets
Never
to stay up
in a
late.
million-
Or a special interest he can hyper-focus on. Just cut.
Yeah,
cut,
I
cut.
think he could get into this.
If you couch it as you're going to get away with so much staying up late, setting things up, it might get him.
Okay, so
he needs a minute of
an example.
something per,
Give you an example.
per thing.
On their birthdays, we put balloons on their doors.
Mhm.
Okay? They all know we do this. It's a thing, right? When it's Evan's birthday, Cole wants to help and put all the balloons on his doors, and he's really excited to do it. And he's like, okay, we got to wait for him to go to bed and wake me up to help me and all this stuff and wake me up before he goes and opens his door. Evan doesn't even think of it. He's like, night-night. Doesn't, would you want to stay and help? Maybe.
Well, he also really likes sleep. That's important to him.
Yeah. But my point is he could care less.
Okay.
About
So maybe when Cole knows, then he can be the elf in the house.
So how do you keep the Christmas festivities, the magic alive after discussing the truth with your kids?
I can't
what
wait
are
to
you
go on
gonna do?
vacation.
You're going to go on vacation.
Oh,
You go
yeah.
on vacation.
That's what we started doing.
Is it Santa or vacations? Wait, what just happened?
Yes. That is
Yeah.
In the DePippo household, it is Santa and then or vacation.
Yep. We did a Christmas vacation last year instead of actual gifts.
Well, and I struggle
Instead
with
of
that.
gifts. That's not Santa, though. That's gifts from your family to other family.
But that's all we have because we don't do the Santa stuff.
I understand. That's a different scenario. But
when there's no more Santa in the morning,
then you don't have to be at your house.
Santa can travel anywhere in the world.
Santa was on the cruise ship last year that I was on. So
I feel I have a really hard time.
I'm not carrying gifts across the world.
Exactly.
And doing all the Santa things, and Santa's coming on the thing. So for us, once Santa's done, it'll be a 2-week vacation out.
Yep.
When they're out of school for us going somewhere and doing something fun.
So just the concept and then the logistics of Santa tethers you to your house and your house.
I completely agree.
Yep.
Yes. And my parents, because they want to watch them open Santa gifts.
Yep.
When there's no longer that concept, we won't be doing that.
I don't
Do your
understand.
parents not care about watching them open non-Santa gifts?
Oh, my parents care about watching them open any gift.
All the
wrap
gifts,
things
right?
all
Gifts.
Okay. So they really like the unwrapping
And
process.
my parents show up here at 5 a.m.
I know, and I'm
They better be making
horrified
you
and
breakfast.
delighted by that.
Yeah.
I think that is so sweet, and I really love that they're into it. But also, if it was me, everyone, Christmas morning, frankly, Christmas Day is my immediate family day.
Yeah.
We won't
I have tried. and
do
my mother
anything
says
else. We
no.
do Christmas Adam, which is my brother thinks it's funny because Adam came before
Christmas Eve.
Aha. So it's Christmas Eve. Every year is our family
Oh,
thing.
okay. Interesting.
Yeah, I know.
When we were still doing stuff with family, it was the same.
But I do.
Christmas Day's
Okay,
us.
this is how my brain thinks. I do really like the vacation angle when my kids are older, and here's why. If I can start a tradition where every year on Christmas we go on a 3-day cruise,
Yeah. Then they're going to come back.
then they'll come back when they're after 18 because
Yeah.
they don't want to miss that. If parents are funding,
Don't give away my long-term plan.
How are you affording a cruise every Christmas? That's
I mean, I
It's a
spend a lot of
beautiful
money on
idea.
presents.
But presents is not if you were
Presents are so
every
expensive.
present-
I do not spend a cruise worth of money on the presents.
That's fair.
that we have.
I don't need
a-
it.
Interior 3-day cruise ish for a family.
Over Christmas,
Mhm.
5, 6, maybe
$100.
1,000.
No. Like a Bahamas cruise. Like when we went on the
because it's a holiday. It's a lot.
There's a premium.
Well, scratch that idea.
I'm like holiday.
I was thinking like 1,000 tops.
No.
No.
Well, okay. In all fairness, I only cruise a certain cruise line. I don't know.
And
I don't think we're at the same.
Not all the time.
Well, anyway, I like.
I'm not a good judge of it, but
trip
but
or
I'm
some other thing.
If we went skiing or we went somewhere else,
yeah, like you used to do. Like, great. Well, after Thanksgiving, that was a thing. You could do something like that.
Like something else,
something
like,
to keep the spirit of Christmas fun.
Not even the spirit of Christmas, just the spirit of being together, right?
That's what I love about traveling at that time because we're already plugged, like out of work, out of school. Like no one's gonna bother me. I confidently know that no one's pinging me. It's amazing.
Yeah, I think for me, the holiday is about being together, and like you also have to remember, like my grandparents spent the night every Christmas Eve. They were there every Christmas morning to open presents with us. So like,
no wonder your parents are here at 5 a.m.
very much into that. Also,
but they have. It's okay. Let me ask this differently. When your kids have families, what are you going to do? Are you going to want to be there?
I will follow their.
Let the record stand. We have
the
recorded.
Record stand.
I would hope, right? Like, so we have a happy medium, I think, right? Like Christmas Eve, what the tradition that we've sort of just fallen into naturally is we go to my parents' house for Christmas Eve and we do a nice dinner. We use the nice fancy china. It's a very nice put together. We get dressed up a little bit, and it's great. And everyone gets to open one gift. And then Christmas Day is literally pajamas, crock pot food, free for all, like. If you're hungry, go find some food somewhere, right? Like we'll have things out and about. There's no formality to it. And what we do is, we wake up around 7 a.m., like my immediate family, and we will do our stockings, just us. And we will maybe do a couple of gifts, just us. And then my immediate family will come over to our house because we had the only kid in our family. So that made the most sense, especially when he was younger and not carting as many of the presents. And so then they would bring, it's like one gift, right, per person. And we would open gifts together like around lunchtime, right? Mid-morning to lunchtime. And it's been really nice. So
you get like some intimate family time and some everyone.
Exclusive, just the three of us in the morning. Nice. And we get to have a little breakfast. And then like we'll try to have a breakfast ready. And so then whenever my parents or my sister and my brother-in-law show up, then, they can eat breakfast too. But it's very informal. Like,
my God, we eat the same breakfast every Christmas since I was like born.
What is the breakfast?
It's pork roll sandwiches.
Oh, yeah.
This is a very thing my family does. It's the only time of year we ever eat pork roll. Like I don't
because they're from the Northeast.
Yeah, it's the Northeast thing. It's pork roll egg sandwich every Christmas morning.
What's a pork roll?
I don't know.
Wait,
I'm sorry.
It's like
is it like
a mystery meat?
It is kind of spam.
Yeah, like
spam.
Maybe I don't want to know.
No, you don't want to know, but you definitely want to slice it and pan fry it and put it on like an egg sandwich.
It's actually,
and you will love it.
Okay,
it's very salty.
It's diner food and it's
in
so
St.
good.
Louis with Landon's family for the first time.
Yeah,
we like to spam in Hawaii.
I thoroughly enjoyed spam.
It's not quite as
rice.
hammy as like spam is.
Yeah,
it's more like pork sausage, but without the sausage herbs and stuff.
And like
in it.
we have a big Christmas dinner every it's a Christmas day. And like when I grew up, we went to each family. We had big one dinner at one house, and we pack up and go to the next house and have
in the same day.
Oh, in the same day.
That's a lot of work on you, though.
Wow.
And it was like hours apart. Like we lived in the Keys. My family lived in Miami and Fort Lauderdale, so we'd go to like one house.
Oh, wow.
House in Fort Lauderdale, and then we'd drive home.
Digesting.
Those are different day activities.
I agree.
No, this was like, and then after we opened presents with my grandparents in the morning, like the whole, like it was a very hectic Christmas day.
That's exactly what I don't want.
Yep.
And I had to go through lots of therapy. I mean, for other reasons too, but specifically on this topic, like I have such a seasonal depression. I have super low vitamin D. Like I have a fancy light I have to sit under, and it's related, right? Because every year I just felt so much pressure to like make Christmas magical and get all dressed up and then like do the Polar Express and then do visiting Santa and then make cookies and decorate the house. And I felt like I had to do it all, and I had to do it all every year. And I think it was just a couple years ago that something clicked with something she said. And she was like, just hibernate, like make that your goal for the winter months. And like your goal is to be lazy in your pajamas and read books and have crock pots and not be crazy. And it has been delightful. Maybe that's a post-COVID learning that has carried.
Yeah, to slow down.
To like slow down. So yeah, we do my family on this year. It's a Monday. Tuesday will be Christmas Eve. We may or may not choose to go to Mass. And then Wednesdays, what Tanya described. And
I think it's so important to think about, right? Like, I know the start is like Santa and like the magic, but it's all so related because all the burden falls on the parents.
The women especially.
Execute, right? And all the brain power that goes into that and the stress that comes from it, right? And so I think at the end of the day, I would hope that it boils down to what brings you joy and also what brings your family the most joy, right? Like, I don't think that
contradictory though.
I don't think it has to be. But I have found a balance that feels really good. And I think that it is possible to find that balance depending on what boundaries you set for yourself.
And what expectations you have.
Right? Like, I don't think that you have to sacrifice your own peace and well-being to bring magic to your family.
Yeah, I agree. And I have also had to remind myself, I don't have to do everything every year.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't have to take Luna to the Nutcracker Ballet and do the Polar Express and do Santa every year. Like, it's good to do it when she looks back that she's done all of those things.
Yeah.
You can't possibly do it all in one.
I have such a very different
But when she looks back.
Do you enjoy the process of it though?
I mean, I would rather be slower, but my kids only have so many years with their grandparents.
Well, that's what I was just going to say. Like,
right?
What are they going to remember? Because it's their childhood, it's their memory. So what do you want them to remember?
So many years with their grandparents.
Yep.
Right? They only have so many Christmases.
Yep.
And like I am so lucky to have parents that care enough to want to be so involved. Sometimes is it annoying as hell? Yeah.
I keep telling you, send them to me when you're annoyed. Right. I'll send them back. Don't worry.
No, but like, I love that they're involved.
The grandparents.
The grandparents, yeah, not the kids. No, the grandparents.
They just all be in pajamas.
This year might be a little bit different because my mom is a divorced parent in terms of like her kids are no contact, so she has to do 2 separate Christmases this year.
Oh, that's going to be interesting to navigate.
So she's going to be taking different directions now.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see how it actually all...
Have you figured out who gets morning, who gets PM?
Listen, I volunteered to not have morning.
Oh, yeah.
And she's like, no go.
It's a good call.
She's like, no go. We'll be there.
Really?
Like...
Yeah.
It's okay.
What
is ingrained, I think.
But
yeah.
like,
I think it's also important to that note to figure out what's important to you, but also to figure out, I don't remember what I was going to say.
Like, Christmas is not just about me, right?
No, it's not.
It's
but I think
about my kids and the childhood experience I'm giving them. And if there's a few years when they're younger that it ends up being this crazy hectic crap that they're going to be ingrained in memory and like and even how chaotic my Christmases were growing up as a kid, I loved it. Like, I remember looking back and being like, we got to do all these things and see everybody, and it was
this
such
shocks
a fun
me.
time of the year.
Yeah. Does it bring Evan and Cole joy?
Yes.
Good.
Like, it brings them more joy. Now, does it bring
Then
my introverted husband joy?
Is.
No, I
No.
already know that.
My introverted husband is like, please, can we stop? But like, he does it also for the kids.
Yeah.
I absolutely agree. I think that as long as the motivation behind it is serving the well-being and the happiness of the family, right? But I think that this goes beyond just a Christmas, right? Like,
Yeah.
Christmas Day is not the only day you get to spend with your extended family, right? Like, they have all year long with those grandparents too, right?
Yeah.
So I hear you on there's only so many years, right? I get that. But I think that it's a bigger conversation about how much of yourself do you sacrifice for keeping up with the Joneses and like making all of these things happen. And maybe it's more to the point, kind of, Jenny, of what you were talking about, of like all of these special occasions and things, and the elf on the shelf and the cookies and the trains and the ballets and the dinners. And it's okay to not do it all.
Yeah.
Right? Like, focus on the things that make you happy and make your family happy, and find that balance so that you are not miserable by the end of it.
Yeah, I don't want my kids to remember me
leave.
being miserable. I don't want them to remember me being stressed and like snapping at them. Like, we did Polar Express with you once. Granted, like, I think we were both still pregnant that year.
Pregnant.
But so like, all right, the little ones, well, your little one's done it, but like Derek hasn't been. But like, Calvin's got the memory. Check. Like, for me, that's enough, and he can have the memory.
Yeah.
And hopefully the rest is okay.
And I think it's also important in that vein to like manage expectations with those extended family members, so you don't assume one thing and they assume another, and then there's tension about what time or what day.
Yeah, no, I've explicitly been like, I think we're going to do Christmas alone. My mom's like, no, you're not.
She was clear with her expectations.
She was. And she like sat me down and said, Nicole, I don't ask for a lot of things, but this is super important to me, and I really care about this, and I really want to be there. Do not oust me out. And I was like, what am I going to say?
I think it's great that you're going to receive her.
As long as they also pitch in, which I know they do. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's not like they just show up and they're like, feed me and like, let me just watch all the things happen.
No,
right?
they cook breakfast. I don't cook breakfast.
It's a collaborative effort. And I think that that's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
I love that.
But my introverted husband wants to have Christmas alone.
Always.
And this year he'll get his alone time in the afternoon when your parents have to peace out
he
for other
didn't have
stuff.
the same bunch
Hubaloo and all the stuff.
They didn't do a lot of that.
Yeah, the afternoon is like board game and video game central. And like people just play with the things that they got, or they just like hang out and play games. And it is so chill. And I love it so much.
We started to do puzzles too, which I didn't know everyone loves in my family.
We used to put on
That's an easy Christmas gift.
Christmas pageants.
With like the clothes that you got?
Well, that and also like
Wait, you would do your own pageants, or you would watch Christmas pageants on TV? Okay, that's great. I love
and like our own dance routines and like whole
magic shows and all the things.
Like all the
things. Funny. There's so many
presentations
other traditions that you don't even think about. Like it's not just Santa.
Yeah,
in some communities, especially like Italian, often Catholic, but not only, there's Saint Nick's Day.
Yeah.
That is a real December 6th,
person.
My birthday.
It is December 6th. And I have one neighbor, shout out to Michelle, whose kids are in college. And ever since we've lived in this house for 5 years, she's been like, have your kids put the shoes on the porch. And every year we put the shoes on the front porch on the night of December 5th. And my kids wake up with treats in their shoes the next morning.
Oh, that's a thing?
And
that's what St. Nicholas did. That's what the story was.
Actual saint did.
I don't really.
But here's the fun twist. My child knows there's no Santa, but he asked me point blank, "Are you Saint Nick too?" And I was like, "No, I'm really not." I honestly don't know how it gets there because I don't know if she does it, Sophie does it, when they do it.
That's like a little.
I don't know. I didn't say who. I was like,
you answered very directly. You're not,
and he is blown away. So like, there are ways to bring little bits of magic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I love St. Nicholas in particular because that's kind of what Santa's based on anyway. But I've always felt a connection to that.
Plus, it's your birthday.
I think that's why, yeah. I dated an Eastern European guy in high school, and his mother, her middle name was Nicola. So it was her saint day in like their religion. So I learned a lot about it from her. And it was just like, wow, I'm like made to be born this day because I love it.
Oh, I love it. Okay, so what other traditions are out there for Christmas that we don't know about? Or maybe not even Christmas, like our neighbors on our old street are Jewish, and we'd always go over for latkes, and like coins, and the kids would always do the like
play dreidel,
and
chocolate coins.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know all the things.
And I think this year Hanukkah overlaps with Christmas.
They're the
right?
Same.
It usually like is quite varied.
In high school, most of the kids in my high school were Jewish, and I remember being so jealous that they got 7 days of presents, and I only got 1.
But did you get more than 7 presents?
Yes,
but
again,
just checking.
I was a teenager. My brain didn't work that way.
Well, I mean,
Santa math.
When I was a kid, there was Jewish, and they got like jet skis for their 1 present.
Wow.
Like, God. Like ginormous present.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a lot.
I want a jet ski.
I'm trying to think of I can't remember. Is it a pickle ornament? I've heard some people hide, like there's a special ornament
they hide the pickle.
But it's
yes.
But
it's an ornament.
To be clear, a Christmas ornament.
Target sells them.
That hide in a tree.
We can't take you anywhere, Nicole.
No, it's like a whole thing. It's a pickle.
Okay. I like this tradition. We're hiding the pickle.
It's way better than the elf on a shelf.
This now, but so yeah, it's like
I'm gonna tell my husband we're playing hiding the pickle
all month long, baby.
No, not all month long. It's apparently only Christmas Eve, and then you wake up, and whoever finds this special ornament,
the pickle.
Doesn't have to be. I'm just trying to take your mind out of the gutter. They get a special present.
No, I'm so in the garter.
Gift.
I will find the pickle first and get the first gift.
The tradition? The first gift.
I don't know, but it's winning something I like winning.
Special ornament.
I want to win the pickle.
Special ornament.
You know, my favorite new tradition that probably
is it hide the
some
pickle?
people would frown upon. I mean, hey, no, it's freaking scratch off lottery tickets. My son is now
yeah.
We went out to visit my sister a few years ago when she was in Santa Fe, and she got us lottery tickets, like little scratch off tickets, and we did it. And now forevermore, Ryan is like, I want to do the scratch offs, and I was like, it gets to be problematic. He's like, can we go get more scratch offs? So I was like, nope, you get it 1 time a year, homie. Like, that's it. But it's really fun. And I was debating this year, like, do I take him to the store to pick them out? And then we like hang them on the tree. And then on Christmas morning, we all get to scratch them.
Well, that's an interesting one.
It was fun. It was fun. Like for a slightly older kiddo, right?
Yeah.
Like, you could do it with your 5-year-old, but like him at his age, like he was thoroughly enjoying it.
So in my kids' stockings, I print out pictures from the year.
See, that's real. I've
and
never
I put
heard
them
of
in
that.
there, and I try to pick like one from each month of like
So sweet.
the year of like what I think is a good memory from that month.
You're so thoughtful with these things.
And you guys pick your
State,
right?
Mhm.
So you travel to a state every year. And is it Christmas that you sit down?
Christmas we pick it out.
Pick it
We have
out
a box of
Can we
all the states.
pre-populate it for you?
We cannot.
Okay. But you take out ones you've been to.
Yeah.
Hawaii.
I mean,
But I
Hawaii.
want to go to
Manifesting.
Hawaii, so maybe.
But I'm also like glad we haven't picked those states until they're a little older.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like I don't want to go and do like Hawaii when they're too young to really like
To appreciate it.
enjoy
Yeah.
and
Or like
appreciate it.
That's how I feel
Montana
about
when they're
Alaska.
too old and you have to do a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, or like
Instead of it sightseeing and just like enjoying.
yeah, like we didn't do Yosemite when we pulled
Mm-hmm.
Wyoming because I wanted them to be older,
To like actually hike it,
and
right?
we'll do that for like Idaho
Yeah.
because I think it's like in both
It's
states.
a couple states.
Yeah.
I will say that your family picking your state is one of my favorite Christmas.
Totally
Like,
agree. I'm anxious for it.
I look forward to it. I get excited for it.
And
I
how
like get
disappointed
anxious for you to
are
Marco
you?
us the answer. Honestly, I don't care.
Yeah.
I think it's just the like not knowing and the anticipation is really fun for me.
That's so funny. I love that. I'm glad I can be there for that. My work also feels the same way, and they always want to know what state.
Right? Like we should bet
I
on
love
this.
that.
Speaking of gambling, like which state do we think it's
I mean,
be?
Oklahoma's already gone. Mississippi's gone. So like we're running lower on the like dud states.
No offense to listeners in those places.
I went to Mississippi.
But I think what you're realizing is there's really cool things in every state.
Yes, that's the whole point of it. Is there's
Mhm.
cool things in every state, but like I could never go back to Mississippi again and be okay with that.
Yeah, that's fine.
Well, so I think to wrap up, right, we would love to hear other traditions that you might do. And also, like, selfishly, I would really love to hear what other people might do with their kiddo who's like on the cusp of going into middle school. And do you choose to burst the Santa bubble? Or do you just let it ride and see how long your kiddo goes
I feel like
believing?
this is such a millennial parent problem because
Really want to know what other people
Yeah.
think.
I mean, I'm curious
I
too.
feel like I
Yeah.
already knew way ahead in middle school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see what the
Yeah.
listeners
So tag us in your posts. Follow us on social medias. We're on all of the socials at SheepHack Unleashed.
Thank you for being a part of our pack.
This is Ashley, Jenny, Nicole, and Tanya. Merry Christmas and all the good things.
Happy Hanukkah.
Happy holidays. I mean, whatever the spirit of what you celebrate. Wonderful.
Tune in next week for New Year's.
Whoop, whoop.